So we have classes on Tuesday and Thursday, and my office hour will be just following that. Do you guys have other classes right after? You guys do? Okay. How many of you have classes right after? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Yeah, so if you guys want to meet with me, just let me know when, and we can set up a time, because this probably will not work for you guys. If you guys find the main door closed, I'll just knock on the door, and I'll open the main door for you guys. And of course, if you want to contact me by email, that's probably preferable because I may not be able to answer the phone calls all the time. This is the book you guys will be needing, will be using. Introduction to Nuclear Engineering. So this is the book right here by LaMarche. So yeah, I mean, to my surprise, there is a copy available online, a PDF copy.
There are.
I don't know how that is legal, but it is. So just heads up, I found out about it. But like, yeah, you guys will need this book. And of course, the class is adopted online as well for equity students. I don't know where the camera is, maybe there. So, and yeah, so this room will be retained for quizzes, homework drop off. You guys can drop off the homework. You guys can drop off the homework at my office as well, if you guys like that. But that's like on fourth floor. I don't believe you guys will be very interested in doing that. If you guys start like introducing yourself and what's your major, maybe starting from here.
I have some mechanical engineering.
Okay.
Mechanical.
Mechanical, modern, nuclear.
Mechanical.
Business.
Yeah.
So your friends fucked you over.
Mechanical.
Mechanical.
Mechanical as well.
I'm chemical.
I like the spice.
Mechanical.
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 Mechanical. Most of us are mechanical. Just one guy, business with business background. So,
I was coming from the Navy,
Mhm.
so I was a reactor operator, so
oh,
I'm
nice.
fairly well versed in a lot of this stuff.
Mechanicals.
We'll see how much transfers over.
Yeah, cool. Nice. Okay, so any idea? Do you like what is the critical size of a reactor?
So,
Yes. No.
I mean, I maybe thinking of something else and different, so I'm just, but, I mean, there's like a multitude of factors that go into like the critical reactor, like a steady state condition. Is that what it's kind of leaning
Kind of,
towards?
yes.
Or?
Yes. Like you are trying to achieve a steady state, right? And then, so in order for you to, yeah, go ahead.
So is it the point where it becomes self-sustaining?
Yes, yes, that's another aspect of it. So criticality comes from, the term criticality comes from where the nuclear fission reaction becomes self-sustaining. So self-sustaining means that it will sustain the nuclear chain reaction by itself. You will not have to play any role from outside to keep it going. And in here, critical size means like you achieve criticality, meaning self-sustaining reaction. But then in order for you to achieve that, there are lots of factors you need to consider in designing a nuclear reactor.
So there's the size capability of it. Like if it's so big, there's going to be more energy and things like that. The longer the reaction's going to have to take, correct?
Yes, you will try for your reactor to be as small as possible, right? Like, so, and it becomes difficult to build a small reactor and achieve criticality at the same time. So your critical size of the reactor will be the smallest size where you can achieve criticality, right? Like self-sustaining reaction and stuff like that. So describe and compute reactivity effects of control, temperature, and poisons. So meaning you want to control the reactivity, right? So you guys know about fission reaction, nuclear fission reaction a little bit? Okay. So why would you want to control a fission reaction?
Want it to get out of control and
Yes.
It's probably better than uncontrolled.
Yes. You don't want a bomb, right? So bomb, one of the difference between a nuclear power reactor and a bomb is like in the bomb the fission reaction is uncontrollable. You're not trying to control it, so it's just go wild. And in a nuclear power reactor, we're trying to control the chain reactions, right? So that's the effects of control, reactivity effects. So you're trying to control the reactivity. Right? So temperature, of course, is a big factor in your fission reaction. How you, so there are positive and negative if the reactivity coefficient for temperature feedback, right? So poisons is any idea? Anyone want to comment what could be a reactor?
Contaminants in the reactor?
Yes, in a way, yes. So when your fission reaction happens, all these fragments like byproducts, right? The products come in, they act as poison because they absorb neutron. So you want neutron to hit the nucleus and cause fission reaction. And all these poisons, they absorb neutrons, and you are, left with less neutron. Poison mean anything that absorbs neutron. That could be contaminants, that could be products, fission products, right? The products that come out of fission reaction. So, looks like our classes have done here. You guys will have a homework at the end of each class, and you guys will submit the homework. And so all you guys need to do is make sure you guys do the homework. It doesn't have to be correct. It doesn't, so just to make sure you guys are practicing as we go ahead. So that's the point of your homework. So don't worry too much over getting the homework right, but of course your goal is to get them right so that you are doing practice, making progress for the finals and the midterms and stuff like that, right? So, but make sure you do them, you submit them to get 100% points, right? Take it seriously, but don't be depressed over it. So homework will be 10%, midterms 25%, and final 40%. Okay. Students taking this course for good credit, yes. So how many graduate students in this class? You and you? Okay. You are in Dr. Lai's lab, we're colleagues,
Yes,
so. And who do you guys work for?
I'm doing the accelerated masters. I emailed you at the end of the
Oh,
semester.
that's you, okay.
I'm doing that as well, just accelerated master.
Okay, okay. Nice.
Yes,
So I'll have to think about it. Maybe, I don't know, it could be a week, could be a couple of days, time between two classes, or maybe a week.
Okay.
If it's, if I'm giving it out at the last class of the week, then you will have 4 or 5 days, including the weekend, right? So maybe I'll try to do that so that you guys have more time. And as for the final, that would be, when I took this course, it was an open book. So if I follow that format, then it will be an open book. But yeah.
So for the graduate students, will the weight of the final be decreased or in the midterm?
With the way the final what?
Would the weight of the final be decreased for the term paper to fit in?
Oh, that's a good question. How's
Write a
that?
paper to load up.
I'm fine with not doing the paper.
Yes. That's a good question actually. I need to go back and check the materials how the previous professor did it. So yeah, I'll have an answer for you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. High temperature gas cooled reactor, you can get very high temperature output from the nuclear reactor. Previously, maybe 30, 40 years ago, you would be able to get, let's say, 350 degrees centigrade, thermal output from these nuclear reactors. Now, you can achieve as high as 800, 900 degrees centigrade temperature. So these are advanced designs to make sure. So of course, this requires advanced designs in terms of materials that can withstand at that high temperature and stuff like that. So that's where this advanced term comes from, right? Extraction. Do you guys know what extraction is? I keep saying extraction, chemical extraction. So for example, to give you a very basic, maybe example, let's say, I don't know, let's say you have some salt and some sand mixed together, and you guys want to extract the salt from the sand. How would you guys do that? Or maybe you guys want to separate the sand from the salt, right? So maybe one way you can do it is just add some water, dissolve the salt, and separate the sand, right? So that's kind of an extraction, you're extracting. In this case, you're separating the sand, but if you are trying to extract the salt out of the mixture, you are using the liquid to extract it, right? So you guys probably heard this phrase, like dissolves like. Have you guys heard of like dissolves like? Which means if you have a polar solvent, for example, water is a polar solvent and salt is a polar material. So the polar things dissolves light. That's why it's called light dissolves light. Polar and non-polar. Polar dissolves polar substance. Non-polar solvent dissolves non-polar substance. So that's basically the chemistry of extraction. All right. So reactors require a critical amount of fissile material, largely uranium-235. Okay. So do you guys know what fissile is? Fissile, fertile, fissionable. These terms. Have you guys heard these terms?
No.
You guys wanna share? No, you haven't. Yeah, probably he has. Do you wanna?
Fissile just means it's capable of sustaining a nuclear reaction.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other?
Fissionable and fertile.
I haven't heard the second.
Okay. So yeah, you're almost there. Yes, you're technically you're right. So fissile means, so when you have your uranium nucleus and you are hitting it with neutron, you cannot just hit a random uranium particle with a nucleus with a random neutron at any speed. It has to be at a certain speed for it to cause the fusion reaction. So what happens is actually, like, as you guys have probably heard, like the neutron hits the uranium nucleus and it splits it, right? But in reality, what happens is it actually absorbs the neutron. It's like striking and splitting. It's just, it absorbs. The neutron gets absorbed in the nucleus. So when it has an extra neutron, and it becomes unstable, right? So the neutron has to be at a certain energy level or at a certain speed for it to be able to cause the fission reaction, right? So now, what is a fissile material is it can cause nuclear fission reaction with neutron at any energy level, at any speed, right? That's why we want uranium-235 in the reactor, because it's fissile. You have more chances of causing the fission reaction in the reactor. And then there are other types, uranium-238, which is fissionable. So fissionable means it can fissile, it can cause fission reaction, but the neutron has to be at a certain speed. So we have two different terms. One is fast reaction neutron, one is thermal neutron. Fast neutrons are very fast, very high energy neutrons, and thermal neutrons are slow, low energy neutrons. So you want thermal neutrons in your reactor so that there is a more chance of causing fission reaction, because slow neutrons can cause fission with fissile materials, so there's more chance of that nuclear reaction happening. High enriched uranium is more than 20%. So you will see them in nuclear, like you said you work from the
Yes.
Navy, right? You work from Navy? You
Yes,
said?
Nate.
In
I was a reactor operator. So
Oh, nice. Okay,
I
so you-
directly control it. The biggest thing with it is just the fact that shore-based or land-based reactors, because there's not really a size restriction, they're allowed to build a much larger reactor so they can have a much lower enrichment. So it's not as dangerous or likely to be tried to be turned into weapons-grade uranium plutonium. But for the Navy, because it's a ship, you've got to keep it as small as possible, as
Right.
power dense, compacted.
Right.
We're allowed the much higher enriched concentrations of uranium for that.
I'm working on designing a nuclear reactor. It's called micro-nuclear reactor. Like you said, it needs to be small so that it can fit in the submarine and stuff like that. So you want it to be smaller. Now that comes with lots of difficulties and challenges. How do you make it critical with a given lifetime and still be sustainable and stuff like that? So, and that kind of reactors require very high enriched, not high enriched. Like the one I'm working on, it has like 19.99%, like just to beat the system, and 19.99% enriched uranium-235. You don't need any special permission for that, right? So yeah, you need highly enriched uranium so that you have a smaller reactor, and because it's highly enriched, you can still achieve criticality for that size and stuff like that. So yeah, nuclear submarine carriers, nuclear weapons have more than 90% uranium-235, right? So it's a lot of uranium-235. And the fun thing is, when there's a nuclear explosion, a bomb explosion, a very small percent of this 90% uranium-235 is actually undergoes fission reaction. A lot of it is just unused, and yet you have so much energy out of it.